Back at it again with another episode of the List Night Podcast. My name is Griffin Queen, as always, joined by Matt Modi and Thomas Albert. We do not have Andrew Simon with us this week, so hopefully we have our best episode ever, and he has to miss out on it. This week, we are going to be doing a standard list. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently. We're going to revert to the way that we used to do it, where someone would give their 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 before we move on to the next person. Our list this week is going to be useless superpowers. We kind of came up with a tiny little bit of a criteria. I think we might have Andrew judge this after the fact to see who has the best list of the three of us. But before we get going, if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you click the like button. Make sure you comment below what you think are some useless superpowers, or at the end of this episode, who you thought had the best list or the best superpowers. If you have not done so already, make sure you click that subscribe button. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your preferred audio platform, make sure you click that follow button and rate and review. 5 stars, ideally. I say this every time. If you're not going to give us 5 stars, don't rate us and review us. So just give us 5 stars. Just keep it easy. Our order this week is going to be Modi going first, and then Tom, and then me. Like I mentioned at the top, Modi is going to give his full 5. Tom's going to give his full 5. I'm going to give my full 5, and then we're going to get the F out of here. And then maybe we'll have a follow-up, like a short episode or something with all of us or with just Andrew where he ranks our lists. I think that'd be a lot of fun. We're going to see how it goes. Modi.
I like it.
The floor is yours, man. It's useless superpowers. Let's get it.
All right. So my pick number 5, and this came to mind because we're currently in the NBA playoffs, but the superpower is you have a better jump shot than Steph Curry. So I'm not going to say that you make it every single time. But the problem is you have horrible, horrible stage fright. So whenever somebody's watching you or you're being recorded, you can't shoot. Like you shoot like Ben Simmons. And so that's a superpower. When you're by yourself, you're wet as shit. You don't miss a shot. You think you're the best player ever. And then you just get really, really nervous whenever somebody's watching you. And then you turn into Ben Simmons.
I really appreciate you describing it as when you're by yourself, you're wet as shit. That's just such a bit of phrasing. I know what you mean. Tough way to say it.
Did that on purpose.
Big regrets on not remembering the movie Mystery Men until this moment.
A good one.
Cal can turn invisible, but only when no one's looking at him.
We actually, one of our buddies mentioned that in the group chat a little bit earlier. That's like a go-to that people use for these lists. I remember seeing like one of those like Instagram things of like choose one of like 9 different options, and I remember that being I think the one that a lot of people chose. No, it's a good one. Modi, I will say I had something very similar, and I didn't end up going with it. It's a good pick though. I like the idea of Steph Curry when no one's around.
Yeah, better than Steph Curry when no one's around. Yeah. I tried to come up with like real superpowers, and then like, all right, what's like the bad twist on it? I think it was like a monkey paws. I think you guys did that episode. It's like, what's this really good thing, and then how does it go bad? That was my thought for this list.
Yeah,
I did a monkey paw list every day. The monkey paw list was fun as hell.
What are you gonna say, Tom?
No, I kind of did the same thing, but we'll get to my list.
All right, so easy, nice, quick one. That's cool. We can move on. My pick number 4 is you can read people's minds, but only in another language. So you don't know what they're saying. So like, I want to see what my wife's thinking. I have to hear it in Japanese or Chinese or whatever. I don't know how the translation works, why that happens, but it's superpowers. It's the supernatural. You don't know how things work. So unless you want to learn every single language, and it's not the same one every single time. So you can't just be like, all right, I'll just learn Italian and then I'm good. No, it's a random language. It could be like some random shit from I'm not even going to say anything because I don't want to be offensive, but the most random language that you didn't know existed. Could be alien language.
That was my follow-up question, even though this is not a scenario where like you have all the answers. Was Griffin's like, if Griffin's thoughts are always in Chinese, can I just learn Chinese? But your thoughts are always in Japanese, so I have to learn Japanese. But if it's random, yeah, pretty useless.
And it could be
That's
fun way
actually
to
a
live
really
life.
good clarification that I had not thought of. My clarification, kind of along the same lines. Do you know what language it is in? Like, are you, if she's speaking in Indonesian, Bahasa, would you know that?
I think you just hear what you perceive as gibberish, and you're trying to figure out what it is.
People would think you're schizophrenic.
Yeah, that's true.
You would think you're schizophrenic.
Yeah, you would want to know what's going on.
That's a good one. That is an objectively useless superpower, unless you at some point determined that what you were hearing was actually like you could become a polyglot and learn a bunch of languages. But even still, like there's like thousands of languages. The odds of you randomly getting the thoughts in one that you know, they're not great.
And there's going to be one time you're in public. Like I know some Spanish, where randomly I'm like, I'm at a restaurant, the waiter, I'm hearing his thoughts in Spanish. I'm like, finally, something I can like, I like understand every third word he's saying, and I can like try and put together the sentences.
That's good. That's a good one. It's a good pick. All right.
It's
I
a
love it.
good one. I like it.
That's objectively useless.
Yeah, exactly. That was my thought. All right. My next one, pick number 3 is, hey, guess what? You can fly, but the fastest you can go is 5 miles an hour. So you're just like constantly trucking along as slow as possible if you want to fly somewhere. So you want to beat that traffic? Traffic would probably be faster.
This is on my list. It's not exactly the same as yours, but it essentially is. I had flight, but you're at your normal walking speed and you have no protection from the elements. So like, yeah, you can fly places, but you can't really go that high. And if you want to go high at all, you've got to be like super bundled up, and you're going maximum about 5 miles per hour. You're probably going closer to like 4 miles per hour. So
Yeah.
mine's actually like a little bit worse than yours. Yeah. I mean, like, it'd be cool. The idea of it's cool, but like, what do you get out of it?
You don't have to walk through crowds because you can just fly over them.
That's true.
That's
like,
true.
I feel like I could find uses for this at work in general. Like, it's not a great power. I think it's slightly useful in the right circumstances.
I would actually, now that I'm thinking about it a little bit, you could ascend a building a lot more quickly. You could rescue, somebody trying to jump and kill themselves very, very easily, as long as you're in relatively close proximity to them.
You could work in Costco and get the stuff from the top shelf without a forklift.
Yeah, and Costco has incredible benefits, so there's really a lot of plus sides to this. This might not be a useless superpower. This might have more uses than we thought, because you're getting healthcare out of this. You're getting 2 weeks PTO and stock options.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't really think about if you're walking through like a crowded, like you're like, you want to go to Times Square for New Year's Eve? Well, guess what? I'm not worrying about crowds anymore. I'm just flying slightly above them, just at a very slow pace.
But you know why we didn't think about it? Because you're talking to 2 guys that don't fuck with people and don't go outside. We didn't think about crowds. We thought about like, how can we just make our lives a little bit exactly the same?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It'll help like 4% of your life, which, that 4% could be fun.
I mean, you'd never have to buy another ladder. So
that's true.
I do hate ladders.
You do hate ladders.
I'm genuinely renowned within a small circle for my hatred of ladders. Okay, all right. It's frustrating that the first one that had major drawbacks is on at least 2 of our lists.
What's on your list? Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
All right, my pick number 2, and this one I got from South Park, is Captain Hindsight. You can perfectly describe why a situation went wrong after the fact with no help whatsoever. So, some terrible tragedy happened. Guess what? I know perfectly how this could have been avoided. I don't know how this can help in the future unless like some exact type of tragedy happens, but you turn into Captain Hindsight. Nobody likes it. Like, what actually would have been better? Like, you're venting to someone. They're like, well, why didn't you just do this? No one likes that person.
I vividly had, you just have weird memories that stick with you. One of mine, funny enough, is coming back from Costco, like when I was younger, high school maybe, and walking in with my mom into our house, and she dropped the raspberries. And I said, oh, I saw that coming. And she goes, why didn't you do anything? And that has stuck with me for now like 15 years, because nobody wants to hear that you saw that saw that happen or was gonna happen.
It is a really cunty way to engage with the world. And I hope that we don't get like kicked off platforms for me using that word. I don't think we will. I've said worse things. I think everyone does that. There's like this little piece of us that wants to be like, oh yeah, like you trip all the time and you tripped again. Like I knew you were gonna, or I knew you were gonna spill on yourself or whatever it might be. You would not have a lot of friends, Modai. This would exhaust people around you. But you would feel really, really smart and good about yourself all the time, which would go really well with your language schizophrenia.
Is he cutting it out for you?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, all right. Sorry, Griffin, if you could hear us, I think we caught like every third word of what you said, and now you're currently frozen.
I thought it might have just been me, so I was like, I'll see if Modai answers.
That's what I was thinking too.
I don't want to be the guy that keeps pointing out what these useless things could be used for.
No, please.
In terms of like very specific jobs oh, there was a catastrophe or like a terrorist attack. How could this have been avoided? Captain Hindsight might come in handy, unfortunately. But
I was thinking that. So it's kind of like, why do we need to learn about history so you don't repeat the same mistakes? Like maybe there's certain situations where something happened and you're like, oh, if I just, this structure that collapsed, now I know if I just reinforce this beam next time, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Like, it's very specific, and maybe it's like, you know, it's a lot of trial and error more than a normal person would have, probably.
That's true. Yeah,
I think for the most part, useless.
and part of the reason why it was number 2 on my list is because that person would immediately become the most hated person in the world. Like
Yes, that
nobody
is
would want
fair.
to hang out with
That
that
is
guy.
fair.
Yeah, the I told you so person is one of the worst people in the world. All right, my number 1. And this is my favorite. That's why I left it as my number 1. So you have super speed. You're like the Flash. You can run fast as shit. But every time you use that superpower, you shit your pants. So either you're never using it, or you just got to wear a diaper for the entirety of your life if you want to use your super speed.
Question. I'm not great with the laws of physics, but if I'm running at super speed and I crap, let's say my pants are pulled down, what speed is that crap going at? Like, am I just leaving a pile where I started?
I don't like that. I don't like the what you just described.
Or is it taking the inertia with it and traveling behind me?
I think it's traveling, but I think physics. I think it's traveling behind you.
In that case, I don't want it. Yeah,
It's
that's a bad
certainly
power.
not traveling in front of you.
That's definitely true. Unless you have some
That
weird.
would not just be a useless superpower. That would be objectively terrible.
I'm just saying, if I could go into the bushes and like start running and leave the crap there, useful. But if it's going with me, no, not worth it.
Sure.
Yeah, no,
I get what you're saying. I
it's a good
love that
workaround.
this superpower is just like, it's kind of like Modai's life as it is, but now he has super speed.
Without the super speed, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like he's like, yeah, I am who I am, but now I'm also the Flash.
But now
Could
I'm
I
fast.
at least be faster?
Fair. I guess that's a
good.
win.
I appreciate how targeted towards yourself this pick is.
Yeah. The Steph Curry one too, because you should see me at a gym by myself. I could definitely shoot like that.
Believe
you should see like Dwight Howard at the gym by himself. You ever see those lists of like what a guy's free throw rate is when they're just in practice? It's like 90%, and then they shoot 40% in the game. It's crazy.
Yeah, like wasn't that a thing with Shaq too? Like he made every free throw in practice.
Yeah. Shaq apparently was like an 85% free throw shooter in practice, and then in games he was maybe 1 for 2.
Yeah. Well, I thought you were gonna say like you should see a normal NBA player just warm up.
Also true.
Because they like think of the worst NBA player you know. Guess what? That guy never misses when he warms up.
Yeah. Dylan Brooks is gonna go like 95 for 100 from 3-point.
Yeah.
Draymond Green is gonna go like 95 for out of 100 from the 3-point line. Like,
yeah,
it's
you watch
absurd
NBA
how
players,
good they are.
You watch them warm up. Like I remember being someone telling a story. They were at a Sixers game. They were watching Spencer Hawes warm up, and they're like, "How is this guy not the best player in the NBA?" It was Spencer Hawes.
I remember Jared and I being at a game and watching the Wizards warm up. And this, I think, might have been in the playoffs, or it might have been like very late in the season. They were a good Wizards team, and they were bricking everything in warmups, and we were like, not going to be a good night.
Yeah,
not going to be a
sign.
good night for this team. And they lost like 124 to like 86. They just did not have it that night.
Yeah, so I guess that was not the game to watch NBA players warm up and make everything.
I'm gonna assume they were all either very hungover. It might have been the second night of like a back-to-back or something. I don't remember, but it was like you knew before they even tipped off, the Wizards were not going to win that game unless the other team
didn't
show
the
flu
up
or something. Yeah, decided not to play that night.
Well, if they were in like Atlanta or Houston, you would have thought they were just at the strip club all night. But DC, not as big of a scene.
Camelot.
DC's got its club scene, but it does have Camelot. Thomas.
It's the only
Thomas,
one I know.
number 1 Camelot guy.
Only one I know.
Yeah, I know that one. I've never been.
All right. Moda, you want to recap it real quick just before Tom goes on?
Yeah. So my number 5, you have a better jump shot than Steph Curry, but you get horrible stage fright. So whenever anybody's watching or you're being recorded, you miss every shot. Number 4, you can read people's minds, but only in another language, and it's completely random. Number 3, you can fly, but at like 5 miles per hour max. Number 2, you're Captain Hindsight. You have perfect hindsight analysis, can exactly know how a horrible situation could have been avoided. And then number 1, super speed, but every time you use your super speed powers, you shit your pants.
That last one is so absurd.
Yeah, I feel like you start out like they're weird. They're used to superpowers, and then it's just like a left turn into shit in your pants.
It's just super personal at the end. It's super personal. It's like, well, I want to be Wally West, but I still have IBS.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I had to have some sort of version of shitting your pants as a useless superpower.
You got to make it realistic.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fair enough. All right.
Fantastic.
I'll get rolling. My number 5, I thought of while walking the dog today. The power to create excess sweat. So like ice power, water bending, where like you can pull water out of yourself, but you can't do anything with it. You're just really sweaty.
This is such a gross episode.
Couldn't that be helpful for people that are like wrestlers that need to hit a certain weight and they sometimes just like sweat it out? You're just like, all right, hold on, give me 1 second. They're like, all right, I hit weight now.
I mean, that for a percentage of the population trying to lose water weight,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Just the tiniest subset of people that already have very visible eating disorders. Now they're going to have even better ones.
And have like cauliflower ear, but they're like, fuck yeah. I don't have to, I can just sweat it all out.
Oh, gross.
It's gross.
Look,
It's
I think you could probably, there's probably a couple different small uses you could find for it. I mean, like cooling yourself down on a really hot day, assuming you have access to clean water sources, or else you're just getting dehydrated super quickly. But no, you're going to be a stinky, gross, just slick person all the time. I don't want to be around you anyways.
Somehow slick was the grossest part of that.
Did you think of this because you're walking the dog and you're like, holy shit, it's hot as shit outside right now and I can't stop sweating?
Well, we were walking and I was like, Aaron, are you not sweating? She was like, no. And I was like, oh, yeah, me neither.
Just my superpower. And you're like, wait a minute.
Just getting humid as fuck out here.
I would like the power to be able to sweat like a normal. I don't sweat very much at all. And I feel like it forces me to get really, really overheated in hot weather. Like I'm always radiating like a furnace and I don't sweat at all.
I would like to sweat less.
Yeah, I'm with
know
Tom.
That about you.
I sweat too much.
Me sweat.
If Andrew was here, I imagine he'd also be on the I'd like to sweat less train.
Yeah. You're on an island here.
Number 4.
It's good 5.
Is the power to age yourself, but you can only get older.
Man.
And then you age normally from there, I'm assuming.
I mean, like at any point I could just be like, and then I get more gray hair and I'm older. But what does that get you?
This is on mine too. I wish I'd gone first. I would have taken so many from you guys. Yeah, you could change your age forward at any rate you want, but you can't go backwards. Yeah. Which, when you're like 6, sounds sick. When you're like 13, sounds sick. And then you actually get to the age that you're at, and you're like, this was the worst thing I ever could have done.
Well, I guess I hadn't thought about it, but yeah, if you're like an October, November birthday and you're 20 and all your friends are already 21, there you go. But also,
you do get a couple months.
But how do you get, like, you can't prove your age at that point, but your body is just older.
Yeah, your ID, you're right. Your birthday doesn't change. You just look very slightly older.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the downside, but yeah, because like when you're a kid, you're like, this would be a great power. But knowing what we know now, we're like, absolutely not. No way would that actually be beneficial.
I mean, it's Tom Hanks and Big learned it.
There's a Robin Williams movie too where he has like a genetic disorder, Jack, and he ages rapidly, and that movie's just really sad. So I think this would be not only a useless superpower, but also super depressing to witness.
Well, imagine if like you have it when you're born and you can't control it. So then your parents just wake up one day and you're a baby, and then the next day you're like 17.
The Tom Hanks movie.
Exactly.
Are you aging mentally or just physically?
I mean, I don't think you can age mentally. Like, you can't age mentally because you can't learn. You're not acquiring wisdom. Yeah. Like
your body's
so you're just going to be like the
you're
largest
not experiencing anything.
This is getting worse and worse. This is a horror movie. This sounds awful. The M. Night Shyamalan movie, I didn't see it, where they like age on that island or whatever.
Yeah.
This might have been a subplot of it. There might have been a baby in that group of people that were on the island. And I don't know. Wikipedia. I'm not going to watch an M. Night Shyamalan movie in 2025, but I will read the Wikipedia summary.
I did watch it, and yeah, I mean, I forget the exact details of what happened, but basically, like, people that were kids were now like teenagers, and then as teenagers do, they had sex with each other, and then the woman got pregnant. They couldn't feed the baby fast enough for it to grow, so the baby died.
Horrible.
So, are you happy you brought that up?
Awful. Yeah, I am happy I brought it up.
That's sadder than Jack.
Me and M. Night, our brains, they go in the same place. We want Bruce Willis to be the hero of all of our movies.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah.
Unbreakable?
Most people.
Great one.
Number 3, you can freeze time, but you also freeze.
You like
So
freeze to death, or you just get really cold?
no, like stop time, not actually freeze. Like you can stop time, but you can't do anything other than unstop time.
You're also stopped. So
Yeah, you're
you just
also stopped.
okay, got it. I wasn't sure if you
Yeah.
meant like physically you I see. Okay, I got it.
No, like you stop time, so nothing moves, nothing's going faster, but neither are you.
So somebody points a gun at you and pulls the trigger, and you freeze time. You just have to kind of be like, you just have to
Well,
make peace with you just have time to kind of come to grips with the fact that you're going to die.
I
I
mean,
don't
you
know
can
if
be like,
that's worthwhile. That
I
again
guess,
sounds awful.
if you I haven't thought about this, but like if you can still think at normal speed, you could be like, this thing is gonna hit me or not gonna hit me. But yeah, like you can't move.
You can't do anything
I
about
feel
it.
like
Yeah.
this would actually be helpful when you're like answering questions that you don't know the answer to. You just freeze time. Like you can still think, right? Like you're not.
I mean, this is not something I personally have, so I don't know. But yes,
Right, you can't do that.
yes.
To be clear, we didn't think that you could do this.
Yeah, Moda, I would think like you have to be able to think because you have to be able to unstop
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
So that way you could just interview question. Tell me about the time when you freeze, you think about it, and then you can't Google anything, but you can have time to think about it. There's some uses there.
That's fair. That's okay. I wish I could stop time right now and think of two more.
Yeah,
I think it'd be good for avoiding uncomfortable scenarios, like when you say something to somebody at or somebody says something to you at a store and you say it back to them, but it doesn't make any sense in the context of you saying it back to them. When somebody says anything to you, I would freeze time. I would think about it for a little bit. I'd make sure that I have my response planned out, and then I would have a polite and not at all awkward interaction with the person at that store, which is the most innocuous, stupid use of the power. But like, that's all I'd be able to use it for. Is just like, don't be awkward, don't be a loser.
Awkward situation.
Or like, what if you're like reading a book and you don't have a lot of time, so you just freeze time while the page is on, and then you read the page, and then you unfreeze time, you switch the page, and then you keep doing that.
If I'm not aging in the time freeze, Modai actually just turned this into an incredible power. I would love this. But if I'm aging in the frozen time, it doesn't gain me anything.
Yeah, then you don't get anything. Yeah.
You just get really long days and then a shorter life.
People see me read, I'm like, oh, I read so many books this summer, and they're like, you look old.
You look like you
so tired.
You look like you're on M. Night Shyamalan's island.
Oh, it sucks.
Okay, number 2, because I meant to do this 3, but I skipped it.
If only you'd been able to stop time.
You could have fixed it.
You can't turn invisible, but you can turn transparent. Like, let's say it's like 85% invisible, but you are very obviously still seen, and like you are still there. You're just a little transparent.
It's like a faint version of yourself.
Yeah, like you're just a little faded. So like maybe in the dark you're a little harder to see, but like you're still visible.
Do you have to is this one of those things where like your clothes are still fully visible, so you have to if you want to use your power, you have to be naked, but then everybody can just see you? But it's like, oh, there's like the outline of this naked.
You just have a semi-translucent penis.
Yeah. In this version, if you do get naked, everyone's still able to see you. It's like the Invisible Woman, except she can't turn invisible because it's only transparent.
Except
just the naked woman.
Or the like slightly dimmer woman.
Yeah. It's like, unless there's shadows everywhere, or like maybe at nighttime it comes slightly in handy, but like as soon as you're in any kind of light, you're very obviously seen.
I think this would increase your ability. Like, you might be like a little bit better at like mugging people. I mean, I don't think that that's like really particularly great use of a superpower. But like you said, if it's dark out or there's shadows, you're hiding in an alley. Like, if light is not reflecting off of you the same, like, yeah, you could jump somebody in an alley that much easier. I don't want this power. I don't want to be able to do that. But Tom, whatever you're into, man, it's hard out here.
Did you guys play a lot of Manhunt when you were kids?
Absolutely. 100%.
Because I would want this power for those Manhunt days.
Like, that's fair. I just think it's just be so disappointing to not be able to be invisible.
Yeah, you're like, could I just be a little bit less clear?
All right. My number 1, I think this came from somewhere, but in my 5-second Google search that I didn't dive into any deeper before this, I couldn't find it. But I'm pretty sure this is not an original thought. In this scenario, you are bitten by a radioactive thing and you get those powers, much like Spider-Man. But in this case, it is a human. And so you get the powers of a human, which are, as we all three know, useless.
Do you get like
You get more
the athletic
opposable
ability of that
thumbs?
person? Because what if I get bit
Now,
by it?
if Shaq bites you, you're not getting taller. You're just getting the ability to be a human, which you already have.
So like if Steph Curry bites me, I'm not to go back to the Steph Curry thing. I'm not
I
going to become a
mean,
better jump shooter.
I don't know how you are in the gym alone, but in front of people, you're still the same.
I got it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I understand. Like you're just. It's a
You're getting
lateral
bit by a
move
person.
in every single way. Is that a useless superpower, or just like you need to get a rabies shot?
I mean,
If a person bit me, I wouldn't be like, "Oh my god, now I have the powers of a man." I'd be like, "I need to go to a doctor."
say like if you got your DNA tested, it'd be like you're more human than a normal human.
You're more
But
human
you're still
than any
just
human's
human.
ever been.
Your
So,
DNA
like,
came
extra
back.
DNA strands.
I
Yeah.
think still super.
It would be a power. I don't know how super it is, but sure.
Useless.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely useless. That we can agree on. No, this is good. I'm still not necessarily sure what the superpower part of it is, but if you want to get bit by an irradiated human, yeah,
I
it's
don't
very
want
dark
to.
in your room, Tom. Sorry, we should have said something.
Yeah,
It got dark like quickly too.
It did.
the
Yeah,
sun
it
went
did.
down.
That's weird.
That is generally how it works. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
My
Let's
recap.
get that recap.
Number 5, you can sweat excessively on command. Number 2, you can age yourself, but only older. Number 3, you can stop time, but you also stop with it, so you can't move or do anything. Number 2, you can become transparent, but not invisible. Number 1, you have all the powers of human because you are bit by a radioactive human, so you're more human than you are right now, but you're still only human.
At the end of the day, you couldn't.
I think
couldn't
what
take a
Marvel
gorilla.
did is that a radioactive human bit a spider, and it became like man spider.
Man spider. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what.
That
I'm
is a
thinking
thing.
of.
That's Mona, he's not making that up. That is a thing.
Yeah, that is.
There's also in DC, there's also Man Bat,
Yeah, but that's different.
who, yes, it is different. It's much more terrifying.
Wing burst.
Okay.
A vampire.
I'm gonna knock off the 2 that you guys have already done as my 5 and my 4. Flight, but at normal walking speed and with no protection from the elements. And then for number 4, you can change your age forward at any rate you want. You can't go backwards. Don't think we need to spend a lot of time on them. We already did. For my number 3, in keeping with all of the weird bodily changes that we're going through, being able to grow only your body hair at will. You can't grow your hair on the top of your head at will. You can't shorten your body hair at will. You can just grow your body hair at will to any length you want.
It's like my chest
As long
hair.
as
I
it's-
could just
Yeah.
just have to go to town.
You could just look like a 70s porn star.
Kind of already do.
This crossed my mind to go on my list. It's just gross. Like the only there's no true use for it other than like Halloween, and you want to be
A werewolf.
yeah, like it just. I was trying to think of like how it's useful. It's not.
And you can't
Unless
be a
you're, like-
werewolf every year. People are going to get pretty tired of that costume.
And then like if you like, I guess if you shave your chest and you're like, oh, I shaved it too short, and it grows, great. But like, it's gonna grow eventually anyway. So what's
I
the
didn't
point?
say you had to like force it
It's the-
out.
How
That's
do you
the
do it
sound
then?
you make.
How, Griffin? How do you get hair
I
to
just
grow?
figured it would just be like a mental thing. I didn't think that it was going to sound like me bump a dumping.
You didn't think it through.
I didn't think
Yeah.
it through. You're right.
I think the only benefit here is there's probably some freaky people out there that have like a fetish of people that are incredibly hairy, and you'd probably be really popular in like the furry communities. So depending on what you're into,
You said benefit, and I thought I heard drawback.
Yeah.
I heard another thing to make this bad.
depends what you're into.
But
I don't
you're
kink
right.
shame.
You know, there
Maybe. Is
are
it?
some monetization opportunities here.
Yeah, you could sell your hair.
You could sell your body hair. Don't
Yeah, I don't know who
that
would-
people
who
are purchasing body hair.
I
Although I
mean,
guess that's like
like-
kind of how hair plugs work.
if freak shows were still a thing,
Maybe.
Yeah,
Are they
that's
not?
true.
are they?
I mean, not in America, but I'm sure they are elsewhere. I don't want to go to other countries. It's
I
too
feel
much
like they're
effort. Yeah.
Do freak
right.
shows exist?
Do free shows exist? How do I apply? And how does the furry community feel about them? I'm going to add that to our YouTube tags for this one. Just furries. Natural furries. Okay, my number 2. Where am I looking on my list? Oh, there we go. When you open your mouth, I don't remember what I got this from. I think I got this from Stitch, from Lilo and Stitch, is really what I was thinking of. But when you open your mouth, you can project any piece of audio from the internet, but it's totally randomized every time. So you don't know what's going to come out.
So can I choose to do that, or is it every time I open my mouth? It
Every
could just
time
be
you
like
open your mouth. It's
man,
like the Tourette's of every audio file that has ever existed.
So
Yeah,
it's
that
not
you're-
like I'm like, say something. Like you can't talk. Like you can't talk.
I mean, you could talk. You might get lucky and be able to do like what Bumblebee did in Transformers, where he like talks using radio play, but it's
through the
also
radio.
just as likely that you're going to get the sound of like Ron Jeremy moaning out of your mouth, or
You're
the
gonna get
brown
canceled
note
within
or something like that.
But like you can't communicate. Like you have to learn sign language because you can't actively communicate.
You actually would get canceled so quickly, Modai, because of how much of the internet is like racial slurs.
Exactly. That's the first thing I thought. It was okay. So I'm not gonna be able to have a job.
I was thinking like things from Spotify, and you were like Xbox Live. Xbox Live is going to ruin the world.
Is it only things on the internet that you've heard, like that you've consumed yourself?
Did not think that, but I think, yeah. Let's say yeah. It's still going to be a lot of racial slurs. A lot of people have said terrible things to me on Xbox Live.
Yeah, unless the only thing on the internet I consume is like Duolingo.
True.
And then I
Thought
can
for a
just
second you were
read
going to say
everyone's
Dua
mind
Lipa, and I was like,
understand.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, Dua Lipa and Duolingo.
You open your mouth and it's just Dua Lipa.
Yeah. What if you like only listen to musicians and then you actually became the person that can replicate every single musician perfectly? Is it in your
But
voice?
it's random.
Yeah, you can't choose.
You can't choose it.
Does it
Yeah, so, like-
switch every time? Like if I open my mouth for 10 minutes, is it a 10-minute clip? Or
Different
does it,
every time.
Like,
I'm going to
but,
turn
like-
what I just did into a GIF.
if it's open for 10 minutes straight,
is it a whole
automatically
10-minute
10-minute clip?
That's a good question.
Because to Modai's point, if you just
It's a good clarification. I hadn't thought about it.
if you consume so much music that you open your mouth, and if it's not the song, if it's not a song, you just close it and then open it again and leave it open for the duration of a song. And you're
I'm gonna
go to
say-
breweries.
Because you couldn't. It'd have to be something that I think it would just have to keep changing.
Yeah,
like whenever the clip runs out, or
Yeah, like it could be
The-
like the
It'd be
generic
autoplay on
audio from
YouTube.
like a fire alarm or something like that. But that only lasts 4 seconds. But you have your mouth open for 8 seconds, so the next 4 seconds is like dogs barking or whatever it might be.
other ads.
There would have to be ads. You hear ads on the internet,
all the time.
but
Like, if
you
I just left
don't
my-
know when they're gonna play. So how could you monetize them?
If I left my mouth open and it was a whole episode of List Night, and then I left it open longer and it was an ad, and then it was something else.
But it's random, so it could be a whole
Yeah,
episode of List.
agreed.
Like you could luck into an episode of List Night, which everyone wants to listen to and hear out of your mouth. Essentially, when you talk to people, you are giving them an episode of List Night, and then you close your mouth and open it back up, and it's the sound of just the sweatiest gangbang. Like
It's like a
That's
reptile.
not great.
It's just slick.
it's slick.
An
It's
ad.
it's an incredibly slick, incredibly filled with body hair, maybe super speedy and shitty gangbang.
We don't have to combine everything we talked about.
I think we should try.
Get pretty gross.
Yeah. Well, my number one is not going to help that. Actually, no. I'm going to go a different one. I had 2 that I wanted to do. My number one, God, I don't want to do the more disgusting one because we've already talked about poop too much. It's telepathy, but you can only hear people's intrusive thoughts.
Isn't it?
So, like,
That kind
you're
of-
walking by somebody, and, like, everyone has intrusive thoughts, like, whether it's about somebody being attractive or about, like, killing themselves or pushing somebody off a bridge. Like, it has nothing to do with how you're actually thinking about the world. It's just your brain firing off random synapses based on things that it's encountering. So you're walking past somebody and they look at you and you hear in your head, I'm going to push this motherfucker in front of a car. But they're not going to do that. But that's what you hear all the time. The only thing you ever hear is the worst thing these people ever think that they're also not going to do anything with.
But so if you look at someone and they're thinking about something and they don't have an intrusive thought going on,
You don't
like,
hear
when
their
you have
thoughts.
what?
You
don't
would not
thoughts.
hear their thoughts then.
But yeah, because like when you have an intrusive thought, it's not like you have other thoughts going on at the same time. So like, you would only hear it if someone's having an intrusive.
Yes. You don't have
Zero.
telepathy otherwise.
What defines an intrusive thought?
I think just like a random, completely like disassociative thought that has nothing to do with what's actually going on. And I'm sure there's a more technical definition. I don't know it.
Yeah, that's close enough. Yeah, you're distrusting of the public with this superpower. You don't want to be friends with anyone. You're not having a good time walking around. You want to fly above people at a slow pace, so you're not on eye level with anybody.
Yeah, I
It's
feel like
another power that feels a little schizophrenic. We're basically just giving ourselves schizophrenia.
this would lead very much to wanting to be locked inside, away from people.
Yeah, which
You-
All right.
you're
I kind of feel that most of the time, anyways.
I don't not feel that most of the time anyways. But we'll save that for another time. My recap, like I said, the first two you guys already covered. Flight, but at normal walking speed, and you can change your age for any rate. You can't go backwards. My number 3 was being able to grow your body hair at will. My number 4 or my number 2, I forget how we order them when we do it this way. When you open your mouth, you can project any piece of audio from the internet, but it is totally randomized. And based on the criteria you guys added, it has to be pieces of the internet that you yourself have consumed, which does not help my case. And then my last one was telepathy, but exclusively for intrusive thoughts.
Good stuff. I mean, I feel a lot worse about myself and about the world after this List Night episode.
This is just like the monkey paw episode we did. We went for like almost 2 hours, I think, on the monkey paw episode because we were having a lot of fun with it. But it was like we just kept coming up with like worse and worse ways to ruin each other's lives.
It was bad.
When you really
It
comes
got
down
dark.
to it, that's what List Night's about.
It got pretty dark.
Didn't the world end like in the first person's pick?
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
I think Thomas asked for like world peace or whatever, but it was at the expense of everyone being dead.
Something
Which
like
is-
that.
that could be. I mean,
It would be peaceful.
no one's destroying the
That
world.
was our argument. We honestly got to the point in that episode where we were like, okay, we need to like ramp back the terrible things that are happening because too many of these, like we're going for the easy,
Dial
let's
back.
just get on base of and everyone's dead or everyone hates you or you're a disgusting person.
It got dark.
Yeah, it got
this
much
looks
like your
like-
room.
That's on me. Poor planning.
I mean, you look like you're in a dungeon.
You look like you've never seen the light of day. If you were a little bit translucent right now, I'm not positive I wouldn't get mugged by you.
Yeah.
You'd be able to see me. That's how bad it is.
That's
The
how
power.
translucent.
All right. Great stuff. I can't wait for Andrew to rank our respective lists. We put together a little criteria just as a suggestion, but I think he'll probably come up with his own criteria. So we'll see who he thinks has the best picks or the best overall pick or whatever else it might be. Like I said at the top of the episode, if you're watching us on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you have never shared us with a friend and you like this episode or any other episodes, share us with a friend. And if you're listening to us on any audio platforms, make sure you click the follow button, rate and review. Go follow us on Instagram, TikTok. We've got YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikToks that drop every single day. It's the same on any one of those platforms. Follow us everywhere. Follow us nowhere. Whatever you want to do, we appreciate you listening and hanging out. And we will see you next time. Thomas is just smashing that subscribe button on the screen. You'll love to see it. I'm going to make so many GIFs from the things that we did in this episode, including me going,
I mean, I'm inserting a penis in there within 3 seconds. So
everyone is. Everyone
Yeah.
is. Both in the
Welcome
GIF
to the
and just,
internet.
anytime we go on a guy's trip. We'll see you guys next time.